Tumaini peace negotiations paused amid Artigono expiry and consultations in Juba. National Ministry of General Education announces a new approach in teachers' recruitment in the country. And Catholic Church celebrates the Jubilee of Armed Forces, Police and Security personnel. Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to SSBC with me, Matiang Joseph. Reverting our attention to the adjournment of the Tumaini peace negotiations between the government and all-out opposition groups, the government delegation reassured the public of its commitment to continued engagement with the all-out opposition groups in pursuit of a lasting solution to the conflict in the country. The temporary pause in talks is attributed to the approaching expiry of the revitalized transitional government of national unity and ongoing consultations in Juba. Clarifying the government's stance, the rapporteur of Tumaini negotiations, Cabinet Minister Dr. Martin Eliya-Lumuro, stated that in a meeting briefing that while the peace talks have made significant strides, there are also some challenges, but should not jeopardize the ongoing efforts to restoring peace and stability across the country and the region.
The root causes, and we have made progress because for the first time we insisted that the issues which constitute the root cause of conflict be listed. And we got a list, which was harmonized list apparently from the mediation. We got a list from the civil society organizations and from the opposition group. And indeed, a technical committee was formed which studied the list, and in our position was that we did not talk about root causes, but we have them, we analyze them and summarize them into 7 headings. But as we discussed, and we came back now to the plenary to present our report of the committee, the mediation surprised us by saying they are going to issue a statement on the status of implementation of the agreement, and that the parties, it's not going to be a joint communique or a joint declaration, but it's going to be a statement by the mediation. So we felt that although the government requested for recess, genuinely, for us to go back and work on things that we need to do in order to start the new extension period of the R-axis, we felt that there were things that could have been done better, and we are committed, as instructed, to continue the process now to conclude on the root causes, and once we do that, we should be able now to go to discuss the responsibility sharing and the 8 protocols, whether they are going to be a merger between the R-axis and Tumaini initiative, which object, it is not part of our mandate, or a completely standalone agreement, or total replacement of the R-axis, both of which we disagree. We are of the opinion, in fact, firm opinion, as directed by leadership, that Tumaini can only be an annex or a complement, because after all, 90% of it is a photocopy, is a copy and paste from the R-axis. And the structures suggested are contradictory, and there are structures that are in existence in one form or the other. So this is the jigsaw.
Now, in a diplomatic significance, South Sudan and its through development cooperation. This follows a meeting between Foreign Affairs Minister International Cooperation Ramadan Mohamed Goj and the Israeli Ambassador Gershon Kada to discussing ongoing projects and future collaborations in the country. SSBC's Abraham Felix reports.
The meeting focused on Israeli-backed initiatives in key sectors such as education and agriculture in South Sudan. Minister Goch emphasized the government's commitment to deepening bilateral relations with Israel, particularly in areas that drive development. Ambassador Kidar highlighted the specific areas where Israel seeks to partner with South Sudan.
Update the minister about the cooperation activities that we are planning in South Sudan for this year. Already at the moment we are working on an educational program with an Israeli academic at the University of Juba. In the next few months we will be also working on space education, space science education for high school students. We want them to get much more involved in STEM education, to study physics, engineering and maths at university, and a way of doing this is to learn about space. It will be something which hopefully will inspire them.
The ministry's spokesperson Apuk Ayuel briefed the media on the outcomes of the meeting.
The two reaffirmed their commitments on deepening interactions and cooperation, including through upcoming high-level visits and exchanges.
In a separate development, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Mande Semaya Kumba met with the head of the African Union mission in South Sudan, Ambassador Jerome Besuaro, on Monday. Their discussion centered on the upcoming 38th African Union Summit scheduled for Addis Ababa on the 15th of this month. The two also exchanged views on the situation in Sudan. The Deputy Minister reassured the AU representative of the South Sudan government commitment to amicably resolving challenges. Speaking to SSBC, Ambassador Besuaro emphasized that dialogue is the only solution to addressing any challenges.
I inquired from His Excellency, the Deputy Minister, on the situation between South Sudan and the Sudan, its neighbor. And I am happy to note and hear from His Excellency that the relationship between the two countries is stable. All are things which are manageable. And I'm grateful to note that South Sudan government is handling the matter very responsibly. That's what Africa expects. And we support that view, and we believe dialogue is essential in any kind of that situation.
The ministry's spokesperson Apuk Ayuel stated that the Deputy Minister commended the AU for its continued support of the peace process in South Sudan.
The two discussed many issues, including the AU Commission elections, the theme and agenda of the summit, and the situation in Sudan, as well as the Tumaini peace process. The Deputy Minister acknowledged with the African Union.
Abraham Felix, SSBC, Juba.
The National Ministry of General Education and Instruction is to applying current regulations on granting permission to professional practicing teachers in the country. The Minister of General Education and Instruction, Awudeng Achwil, announces new approaches in teacher recruitment following the release of teachers' performance assessment results in Lakes Estate. SSBC's Mario Solomon reports.
The National Ministry of General Education and Instruction released the result of teachers' performance assessment examination in Lagos State. Addressing the functions, Minister Awudeng Achwil says teachers' assessment examinations are focused on improving teaching skills. She declares the ministry will grant permission to practicing teachers who have duly passed the teachers' performance assessment examinations.
This report of people who have passed should be given to public service, for public service to put them in grading and give them their personal numbers and files so that it comes to the cabinet and the cabinet will do approval, and when the cabinet has done the approval, all of them will be in the payroll. So I am appealing to each and everyone. The green pen and the blue pen and the red pen that appoint people who are not qualified, we need to stop it. For those who have not made it, if they are still interested in the professions, there will be schools, they go back, when they get their document, qualify them, they will be given. Mine, we're just taking those who have passed, we'll give them what we call teaching license.
Lagos State Governor Rindwen Mavor instructs all county education directors to suspend teacher contributors from teaching learning activities to allow them improve their teaching performance.
People directors of education in counties, are they volunteers? They are not volunteers. Who can't whistle for Gurush? They were benefiting. Milliard Batan and Gurush with our parents, they were not volunteering. They were charging the children in Madari. So, Manale education directors.
Lagos State is leading as an example of other states to lead this entire process to assess qualification of our teachers so that they can teach our children very well.
According to the assessment examination result released, 112 out of 168 secondary school teachers passed. 3,311 out of 3,507 primary school teachers passed the performance assessment examinations.
Among 167 secondary school teachers who attended assessment, we have 121 teachers, which is 72.5% passed, and 46 teachers, 27.5% failed. On the other hand, performances out of 3,000 teachers, which is 37.4% passed, and 2,196.
A consultative program on to reviewing the Norwegian Church Aid 2025-2029, a strategy commences on Monday. The program, organized by the Norwegian Church Aid and the government of South Sudan, aims to reviewing the organization's commitment to supporting South Sudan in numerous areas, including peace. In his address, National Minister of Peace Building Stephen Parkwall says they are working with Norwegian Church Aid to realizing peace, reconciliation, and healing. The Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation, Paul Maiding, unveiled plans to signing memorandum of understanding with the Norwegian Organization for Mutual Cooperation between the two nations. The Norwegian Ambassador Roar Oxdal says the Norway will continue supporting the government and the people of South Sudan towards stability and development, respectively.
Partnership will be really consolidated in this area of peace building, especially in truth, reconciliation, and healing, which we will do with the churches of South Sudan and the Norwegian Church Aid. This is very important provision of the agreement we call RRCs, Chapter 5. We will do this together, and we will be in partnership to take this country forward.
The Norwegian Church Aid, whose strategy we launched today, works to promote environmental sustainability, universal right of access to safe, clean drinking water, improve hygiene and sanitation, and engage in supporting farmers to achieve food security in the country. To achieve all this, safe, clean drinking water, environmental sustainability, and food security through irrigated agriculture, which is one of our mandates that can generate a good number of jobs, increased per capita income, reduce poverty.
NCA's new plan is not just about responding to emergencies, it's about looking ahead. It's about making sure that more communities have access to safe drinking water and sanitation. It's about ensuring that women and girls can live free from violence and fear. It's about bringing people together to resolve conflicts peacefully so that future generations inherit a South Sudan that is stable.
South Sudan joined the rest of the world in commemorating the International Epilepsy Day at Juba Teaching Hospital. Celebrated in February every year, the day aims to unite individuals, organizations, and communities to increasing understanding and support those living with the disease. The Deputy Director for Mental Health at the National Ministry of Health, Dr. Rita Albino Akol, affirms the government's commitment to addressing issues of mental health and other neurological diseases in the country. The chairperson of Initiative for Epilepsy Awareness, Kur Ikial, says the event highlights the importance of early diagnosis, treatment, and improving access to care for people affected by epilepsy in the country.
We want to honor those initiatives with epilepsy awareness and those who are working in raising awareness initiative for epilepsy, to help the people and to encourage them, and also to challenge the challenges that they are facing in their life. As we saw in the testimonies, those people do talk about their testimonies and their journey with epilepsy. And our message as a Minister of Health, Department of Mental Health, we want to say that let us put our hands together, because this collective responsibility is need to be together and to encourage together and to provide the services. As we know, the numbers of people who have epilepsy now every time they are increasing.
This one is to give opportunity to persons with epilepsy to share their lived experience and personal testimonies of their unmet needs, because we understand that epilepsy is a condition that is masked with a lot of stigmatization, discrimination, and also inclusion gaps and treatment gaps as well.
First of all, the question I ask myself is that, why am I judging myself if I can see that all of the persons living with disabilities, they have a big role to do. They can serve people and they can do much better. So why am I judging my own self? And on that time, when I come back home, I was inside my room thinking of what I've seen and what's going to be in the future. How am I going to be? What if I change myself from the current status where I am? So I've taken this decision not to judge my own self, because during that time it was really so hard on me because of the stigmas and the stereotypes. They are really pushing.
The authorities in Western Bargazal State, in collaboration with HASK Foundation, have assessed medical facilities, particularly Wow Teaching Hospital. The Deputy Governor Zakaria Joseph Garang assures the government's cooperation with the health partners to improving medical services in the state. The founder of HASK Foundation, Adut Salfakir Mayadit further explained the motives of her visit. The Director General of Wow Teaching Hospital, Dr. James Angelo, commended HASK Foundation for supporting the state's medical sector.
وفعلا احنا مشينا المستشفى وزورنا عدد كبير من المرافق وعنابر في المستشفى، ونحن وقفنا على صعوبات اللي بواجه إدارة المستشفى والدكاترة هناك فإنه يخدموا الشعب. نحن بنشكر الزيارة بتاعها، هي وعدت بحاجات كثيرة وشافت بنفسها النقص اللي احنا بنواجهه هنا كحكومة بتاعت ولاية غرب بحر غزال. فالمنظمة وعد بأنه تقدم دعم كبير للمستشفى ممكن يكون يساعد الحكومة.
We did a general assessment of the facilities, but we shall have our team come back for a thorough assessment where we shall visit every single ward that is in the hospital. We have noticed things that we can change quickly. We have noticed things that will take time, but we are committed to making changes long term. One of the main things that we have discussed was how to make our foundation, as well as the National Ministry of Health and the State Ministry of Health, work together, collaborate with other national organizations as well as international organizations to help us fix the facilities and provide services that will be long-lasting for our citizens.
شكرا للسيدة دود بزيارة بتاعه نسبة للطلب بتاعنا، وأنا قلت أنا محتاج لزيارة السيدة دود الليلة ولا بكرة، ففعلا هي طلب بتاعي، فأنا بقول لها شكرا جزيلا. وأنت شفتي كل الحاجات اللي في المستشفى، وبشكره في المرة الأخير منظمة كمشور من أجل الدعم بتاعته في وجود كريس ماريانو، وبيساعدنا شديد. الأسبوع اللي فات حول لنا عيان ساعدوا بالتذكرة وعلاجات ووصل.
The Catholic Diocese of Malakal celebrated the Jubilee of the Armed Forces, aimed to honor and appreciate the contributions of the armed forces. SSBC's Mario Solomon reports.
Addressing the first ever armed force Jubilee, the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Malakal, the Right Reverend Dr. Stephen Nyoto Ador, explains the historical backgrounds of relations between the civilians and military personnel. He stressed the importance of cooperation between the two sides.
صلوا كثير من أجل شغل بتاعكم، صلوا كثير من أجل البيوت بتاعكم، صلوا كثير من أجل الدولة بتاعنا. وصية بتاعي الوصية ممكن قاعدة بتاعكم يتكلموا كبير عساكر بتاعنا. أنا قلت قبل كده لما مشينا في كونتونمنت في علال، مشينا برضه كونتونمنت في بقية، كان مشينا صلينا مع ناس هناك عشان نشجعهم في بداية بتاع training.
The governor of Upper Nile State, James Odog-Uyai, says the state government is committed to upholding good relations between the civilians and military personnel.
شباب تعلنين امبارح من 5 قبائل هم جوني وقالوا لنا تاني ما بندي فرصة للناس عشان نشاكلوا برانا. لو ناس كبار السياسيين اللي بيشفقوا ناس دايرين عشان يخربوا بلدنا خليه يشاكلوا، لكن أننا ما بنشاكلوا. قولوا لهم مبروك. قولوا لهم لو كلام ده ما من لسان الزول وجاي من ضمير الزول يا أخوانا ربنا ده ما بقوشه.
The commander of the South Sudan People's Defense Force Division 2, Major General Simon Majok, pledged to apply the SSPDF mandate for protecting the country and its property, besides promoting mutual relations with the civilians.
قولنا الجنوبيس في غيار جديد جاء، في أمل جديد جاء، في رجاء جديد جاء. احنا كأجهزة الأمنية موجود في البلد ده، مع القيادة السياسية الموجود في البلد ده، احنا عايزين ملكال يرجع زي الأول. ملكال لمشي الناس كله، ملكال لكل قبائل جنوب السودان كله، ما قبيلة واحدة.
The State Police Commissioner, Major General Joseph Moyana Khan, promised to work hard toward protecting civilians and their property and maintaining good relations with the public.
Security لازم ده شغل بتاعنا كلنا. لازم security يكون في، لازم ما يكون في نيجا هنا داخل ملكال يا جماعة. نيجا ده عنده أبوه وعنده أمه. لازم يحفظوه، لازم يمسكوه. لو ما بيحبل يربطوه قراو يقول في البيت. security مهم. دولة ما عنده security ما بكون دولة.
The Holy Father Pope Francis' series of jubilees, beginning with communications, seek to promote good relations between the civilians and military personnel. For SSBC News, Mario Suleiman.
A delegation from the National Ministry of General Education and the World Bank is assessing educational services and Boro Medina refugee camp in Raja County, Western Barakazal State. Kur Ayai Chol, head of the delegation, confirmed the government's commitment to providing education opportunities for all the children. Joseph Romano, executive director of Boro Medina Payam, called on top authorities to improving the learning environment at the local levels, while Bang representative Grace CKG Loki announces agreement to building 200 schools across states hosting refugees. Abakar Musa Abakar, head of the Boro Medina refugee camp, expresses concern over displaced children working in markets due to lack of educational facilities in the area.
Leave no child behind. يعني شنو؟ ما تخلي أي جنة ورا. أي جنة لازم يتعلم. ومهات قبل طالبنا بتعليم. عندنا تعليم بقول تعليم البديل ALP تعليم البديل. وتعليم البديل ده شغالين فوق وهيجيكم إن شاء الله في المعسكر.
بيشيل 150 تلميذ ده كلام ده في محله، لكن الحمد لله انتوا جيتوا ارض الواقع، فانا بتمنى انه تحسن الوضع التعليم للمنطقه وللعجين. التحديات اللي انا بنشوف مدير بالنسبه للعجين هم بيعانوا من الصحه، ناحيه الصحه. الامهات ديل طبعا ديل اخواتنا المسلمات، لكن المشكله الاساسي في المستشفى هناك عدايه بيكون راجل.
The World Bank is very specific in component number 3 that the refugee child must go to school because the Ministry of General Education said there is no child in this country who will remain in the house without education. Hakuma, the Genov Sudan, they have agreed so that they can rehabilitate 200 schools.
انت جيتوا لنا في وقت ان احنا دارين الطلبه، عندنا الطلبه زي ما شفت ده 1% من الطلبه، يمكن كثير الطلبه هسه او التلاميذ او الاطفال دول كتار هسه في السوق مشردين. حقيقه انتم خشيتوا السوق، الهسه في السوق اكثر من الهسه اللي قاعدين دول مشردين. حقيقه انه يا جماعه ما عندهم يعني موضع عشان يقدروا يقروا ولا عندهم اي شيء. زي ما سقطت رئيسة المرأة.
University of Juba organizes a function to welcoming the newly enrolled students and graduation of over 100 students from different colleges. SSBC's Dor Wall reports.
In his address, the representative of Upper Nile State Governor Antibas Daniel Deng advises the new students to focus on their academic activities to refrain from politics.
وتساهم في المجتمع وتقدم كل المجهود اللي عليك. التعليم الحرفي والتقني لأسرع وسيلة للتنمية البشرية وتنمية المجتمع.
The patron of the occasion and head of the South Sudan Physical Union, Zakaria Peter Ajak, encourages all graduates not to depend on government employment. He persuades them to focus on the private sector.
شغل كبير عشان الزول يتخرج، وكمان ما ننسى أمهاتنا اللي هم ساعدونا إنه خلونا نخش الجامعات برغم الظروف اللي حصلت الكثيرة. ولو ما اجتهادكم ما كان وصلتوا للمرحلة اللي فيكم، صح؟ And there is no pain without gain, right? Or there is no gain without pain, right?
A member in Upper Nile State Legislative Assembly, Jacob Dollar, congratulates all the graduates upon their determination to complete their academic journeys.
When you decide to go for education or for school, you prepare yourself for the challenges. You will face a lot of challenges ahead of you. You may struggle alone to pay your school fees. And also you may struggle for the accommodation. These are the challenges that you will face ahead of you. But because of the commitment that you decide you go for education, this is the only way that will change your life. Be resilient, be committed. After the end of the days, you will also feel proud for your own work.
The chairperson of Fashoda Students Association in the University of Juba, Oshathom Johnson, explains some of the challenges to the association, especially tuition fees and hostel accommodations.
To our graduates, as you step into this next chapter of your life, remember that you are equipped with knowledge, skills, and friendship. It will serve you well in all your future endeavors. Congratulations, class.